For the past 17 years, the last humans have lived on a train that never stops, circling a frozen Earth that mankind destroyed. To stop global warming, people had released a chemical called CW7 into the atmosphere, but instead of saving the planet, they froze it. The story begins in year 2031. Inside this endless train, humanity is divided by class. Every compartment represents a social layer. At the very back, the tail section. There live the poor and unwanted. They have nothing. They sleep on metal floors, eat disgusting protein blocks. They don't see sunlight. They don't get fresh air. Their children are sometimes taken away for work, and they have no idea where or why. As you move forward, the environment completely changes. Each compartment feels like a different world. The middle sections are home to the working class, engineers, cooks, and maintenance workers who keep the train running. They have slightly better food, cleaner space, but they still follow orders. They're not free. Then come the upper-class compartments, where luxury returns. Golden walls, fresh sushi, bars, schools, spas, even a greenhouse. Here, people dress in fine clothes, drink champagne, and talk about balance while ignoring the suffering behind them. At the very front, there's only one man, Mr. Wilford, the creator and ruler of the Snowpiercer. He lives alone in the engine room, worshipped like a god. His word is law.
We see deep inside the tail of the train, Curtis is quiet, strong, and observant. He's not the leader of the tail, but everyone looks to him when things go wrong. Beside him is Edgar, young, restless, and loyal. He sees Curtis as a hero. And then there's Gilliam, the oldest man in the tail section, frail in body but sharp in mind.
We see the tail section is quiet and tense. Everyone is waiting for the daily inspection. Suddenly, the train doors slide open and armed guards step inside. Their minister walks in strict and speaking in a fake polite tone. Behind her, soldiers line up. One of the guards points at a little boy, Timmy. His mother screams and begs, but the guards drag the child away, saying he's being taken to work in the front. Nobody knows what that means, but everyone knows it's bad. Another man tries to fight back, shouting that they can't take children. The guards grab him, force him to kneel. That's when Minister walks forward with a smile and orders to put his arm through a small hole in the wall. The guards open the outside gate. His arm is exposed to the sub-zero air outside the train. Minutes later, it's frozen solid. Minister orders the guards to smash his arm with a hammer, shattering it into pieces. The whole tail section watches in horror. While everyone is shocked, Curtis, he notices something strange. He sees they have no bullets. He tells to Gilliam, but Gilliam stops him. He warns Curtis not to act yet. He says they need to be sure one wrong move could kill everyone. After some days, they decide to start their plan. Curtis knows it could be the end for all of them, but there's no other option. But something feels wrong. They change their timing, arriving earlier than expected. People start panicking. The guards rush in and start counting. Curtis steps forward. He stares straight at the nearest guard. He grabs the guard's gun and put his head on gunpoint and pulled the trigger. He was right. The guns are empty. The entire tail section charges forward like a wave. Men, women, everyone swinging metal pipes, chains, anything they can find. The guards fall, one after another. After the fight, Curtis and his people move deeper into the train. Gilliam told him about a security expert who designed all the doors, the only person who can open every lock up to the engine. His name is Namgung Minsu. Curtis and Edgar open one of the metal cells. Inside, lying on the floor, is a man, Namgung Minsu. He looks at them like he's been waiting for years. Curtis asks him for help. He demands chronol, a toxic drug made from industrial waste. He's addicted to it. Namgung nods slowly and then points toward another capsule. Inside is Yona, his teenage daughter. Gilliam immediately realizes she'll be useful in the journey ahead. He presses a few buttons and the door opens. This is easy for him. As Namgung opens the next steel door, for the first time in 17 years, they see sunlight. People from the tail section who've lived their entire lives in darkness stand frozen, unable to believe what they're seeing. Namgung opens the next door. Curtis and a few step inside, and it's a factory. Dark, hot, and filled with the smell of oil and decay. Curtis looks closer. Inside the barrels are cockroaches, millions of them. The machines crush them into a pulpy mass, cook it, and press it into shiny black bars, protein blocks. The same food the tail section people have been eating for 17 years. It's proof that their lives, their suffering, were nothing but a cruel system of survival, a cycle of control built on filth and lies. After discovering the horrifying truth about the protein blocks, Curtis's group keeps moving forward. Everyone is angry. As it slides open, the entire group freezes. Is a wall of men, all dressed in black uniforms, faces covered with ski masks, and in their hands huge axes, machetes, and blades shining under the lights. Then, as the train speeds forward, they're entering a long mountain tunnel, stretching for miles. In seconds, everything goes black. Guards wearing night vision goggles. The guards start moving fast, their blades cutting through the dark with precision. People cry out for help, slashing wildly at shadows. Then, from the back of the train, a small boy lifts a burning torch high above his head. The people behind him light their own makeshift torches. The glow moves through the crowd like a wave of light, cutting through the blackness. And now the guards are the ones blinded. The balance shifts instantly. They fight like animals. The floor is covered in bodies. The guards are dead. The survivors, barely standing, look around in silence. They've won the fight, but at a terrible cost. Edgar, Curtis's closest friend, lies on the floor, stabbed during the battle. Minister and Wilford's representative is now their prisoner. Curtis leads the way. Every compartment they cross shows a new world, a new class, aquariums, gardens. The contrast is surreal. These people have been living in luxury while the tail section starved. Then the next door opens, and they step into something unexpected, a school. Children sit nicely at their desks, smiling and singing songs. At the front, a young, cheerful teacher greets them warmly. Curtis looks around, at the walls filled with propaganda posters, and realizes the kids are being brainwashed from birth to worship Wilford and fear freedom. Then, during harmless celebration, the teacher opens a basket of eggs and walks around, handing one to each person. It feels like a moment of peace. The rebels for the first time start to relax a little, but then she reaches into the basket again and pulls out a machine gun. Without hesitation, she opens fire. Bullets tear through the compartment. Curtis dives for cover, trying to protect the survivors. After the gunfire inside the school compartment, chaos spreads through the train. Back to Gilliam compartment, where Eggman give guns to remaining guards, and they killed Gilliam and remaining people. Another side, Curtis anyhow killed the remaining guards, but after the chaos, the only three remains: Curtis, Namgung, and Yona. Curtis finally reached the very front of the train. They stand before a massive, thick metal door. Behind it is Wilford's engine, the heart of everything. Curtis stares at the door, breathing heavily. 17 years of pain, loss, and blood, all leading to this one moment. He's ready to storm in and finish it, but Namgung doesn't move toward the lock. Instead, he kneels by the base of the wall.
Namgung has been collecting small gray blocks of chronol. To Curtis, it always seemed like a useless addiction. As Curtis waits, frustration slowly builds. He can't understand why Namgung is wasting time on scraps when Wilford is right there. But the truth begins to reveal itself in Namgung's quiet determination. Chrono isn't just a drug, it's highly flammable, even explosive. Namgung isn't planning to open the door, he's planning to open something much bigger. For the first time, Curtis begins to understand. Namgung doesn't want to reach Wilford's world, he wants to destroy it. The silence in front of the engine is suddenly broken by the sharp hiss of the door unlocking. A woman came out from the engine. Without hesitation, she raises a pistol and fires. The bullet grazes Namgung's shoulder, sending him crashing against the wall. Then she gestures toward the open door, silently conveying a message. Wilford, the man Curtis has been fighting to reach, is waiting, and he wants to dine with him. Curtis steps through the engine room, isn't loud or dirty like he imagined. The man behind everything. He's older than Curtis expected. White hair, sharp eyes, a quiet confidence that comes from total control. Wilford begins to speak. He explains that the train has been running perfectly for over 17 years because of balance. Every section, every person, every death has been part of that order. Wilfred reveals that he has always maintained this balance with the help of Gilliam, the same man Curtis saw as his mentor. The man who inspired the revolution was secretly communicating with the one they were fighting against. Together, they made sure the population stayed controlled. Too many people meant starvation, too few meant weakness. Every sacrifice, every punishment, every riot was part of a plan. Curtis sits in silence as the weight of the truth crushes him. All the lives lost, all the blood spilled, not for freedom, but for the system to correct itself. Wilfred tells Curtis that the train needs a new leader, someone strong enough to understand the balance, someone ruthless enough to maintain it. Outside the engine, Namgung and Yona fighting with remaining peoples. Namgung guide Yona to set up the boom and help her to open the gate. Then Yona opened the engine gate, asked Curtis for match, but Curtis refused.
He brainwashed it by Wilfred.
But then, she looks around, confused. She walks deeper in, pushing aside a heavy steel panel that's slightly ajar. Behind it, in a small compartment, she sees a tiny hand moving up and down. Inside that narrow crawl space, covered in grease and dirt, sits a little boy, Timmy, one of the children taken from the tail section. He's working silently, reaching his small arm into the machinery, replacing a missing part with his own hand. He doesn't cry, he just keeps working, like another piece of the machine. Wilfred had been using children as spare parts for the engine. Curtis finally understands. This train never preserved humanity, it consumed it. He reaches into the gears, trying to free Timmy. The spinning metal slices through his arm, but he doesn't stop. Sacrificing his own arm in the process, Yona watches Namgung's words echo in her mind. A small explosion is enough to break the wall of snow. The explosion rips through the front of the train. The engine bursts apart, flames swallowing the walls. The endless chain twisting like a wounded serpent across the ice. The sound fades into silence. When the smoke clears, Yona awakes amid snow and wreckage. She's bruised, trembling, but alive. Beside her, Timmy crawls out from the debris. They look around. The great train, the world that trapped humanity for 17 years, is gone. In the distance, they see movement. A polar bear stands on the snow, alive and breathing, proof that life still exists outside. Yona tightens her grip on Timmy's hand. Together they take their first steps into the unknown. Two survivors walking into a new world, born from fire and sacrifice.